Devin Galtrey, Spar Group, Packaging Manager responsible for the group's packaging strategy.
Thank you, Safripol, for including us and including retailers and brand owners. Something I picked up yesterday, and I was trying to hear it earlier, is that there's quite a distance between producers and manufacturers and where we sit in the retail space, and it's been pretty awesome yesterday to see there's so many opportunities for us to do further collaboration. So thank you for having me today. I'm unlike some of the others, like Chandru. I'm not recycled. I'm a virgin speaker here, so I don't know if that works. Doesn't work. Also feel like a bit of a backstreet boy. But I hope by the end of the conference we can help Michael when he goes down to Sinkwazi on the beach and have a nice clean beach. So thanks for visiting us in KZN. Cool. So the topic I got a clicker. The topic today is what are brand owners in South Africa doing to drive sustainability and plastic circularity. I know the word sustainability, I think we need to get rid of it. It reeks of caviar, medical aid, and private schools. And in the retail space, people hear that word and they go, it just costs more. So maybe we can think of another name at some stage, but I think with collaboration we create scale. That whole exclusive, expensive feeling of sustainable practices hopefully leaves us. So hearing yesterday's talks, and these are my talking points for today, there's so many alignment, there's so much similar thinking already. So what you're going to hear today is just some of our experiences in circular thinking. And like I said, the thinking is already there in this room. So today's just going to be sharing of some things about tomorrow, circular systems, some of our targets, collaborations that we are busy with, and others, identifying our problem areas in this space, then zooming in on those areas, measuring the EPR, adopting circular thinking, unpack recycling logos, and just some stuff that we're doing Spar as a group. So this logo or emblem is it's a phrase. The phrase "My Spar Out Tomorrow" is a phrase which has been, it's a public commitment to the future, and it's the future of our brand and of our planet. And this emblem didn't come up from our marketing department. So in the Spar Group, our ESG team, which is environment, social, and governance, does not report into marketing at all. We believe that what we do in that space should be authentic, and it should come from a place of authenticity and truth. And if our marketing department choose to use some of these things to market on, well, then we think that's amazing. But we don't go out there to try and create systems and things for marketing purposes. And we believe that the thinking and the circular thinking and systems thinking is actually just the way we should all do things around here. So it's becoming a whole culture shift within our business in the way that we should just be doing things around here, not for any other reason. So that's the background to that logo. So when you do see it, that's what it means. You'll see it in some products, etc. So in our team, and specifically around packaging, that's where it started, but it's evolved from there into other parts of our business, is around circular systems and circular thinking. The thinking around systems and circularity, because within all of those, we've got all our 9 rules for design for circularity, but within each one of those is a system in itself, isn't it? So within the recycle space, there's a whole system in there. There's a system in reducing. There's a system in repair, restore, rebuilding. So within all of those are just systems within themselves. And it's how do we find a way that can all merge and work together? All our choices that we make are based on the 17 UN SDGs. So you'll see the colors that do go around that logo. And those are we saying that what we're doing today with design of something, or whatever we may do, a practice or whatever we're going to do in our world, doesn't meet any one of those. And if it does, then we should be doing it. If it doesn't, we should actually take it off the table. So this is a long burn. It's not perfect. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We're still making a lot of mistakes. But the thinking is changing, which is important. So the sort of thinking of systems that we've adopted. And in that too, around the more packaging specific, we've created ourselves some targets. A lot of these targets on alignment with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, as well as the SA Plastics Packs targets, because we believe in what's the point of having a whole new set of targets which don't align with anything. We're never going to create scale, are we? So within those, within the thinking around those foundations, if we align ours, then surely those targets will be easier to achieve, and we can achieve them in collaboration and at scale. And they aren't foreign to anyone. Our first target, this is packaging specific, is to define a list of problematic or unnecessary packaging and agrees to measures to address by 2021. We've identified those, and we're in the process of addressing those. 100% of our packaging to be reusable, recyclable, compostable by 2025. Don't get scared of the compostable one. That's a whole system in its own. But we need to leave it there because we need to be mindful of it because there may be a space for it. I'm not taking it off the table, but it's certainly not on the table at the moment. That's why I've got the little, I think it's called an asterisk next to it. Then 70% of our packaging to be effectively recycled by 2025 and 30% average recycled content across all packaging by 2025. These are quite hectic targets. We may or may not reach them, but it's in collaboration with yourselves and other retailers and other brand owners and municipalities and waste pickers associations, etc. It's the only way we're going to get there. So this is not a Spar thing. This is certainly our thing. And also the big thing around this is it's easy to put all these wonderful targets up, but if you can't measure them or monitor them, then they're actually pointless. So from us, up until when we first joined the pact and this thinking started, we had no idea what packaging we had put on the market. We had no idea what our water bottle makeup was. We had no idea what the honey bottle looked like or what was in it, because we left those up to our co-packers. So it's been taking a lot of time, effort, and resource to actually gather all that information across nearly 5,000 SKUs across all our brands. So it's been quite a laborious task to actually firstly capture this, then identify which are the ones that are the nasty chaps, and then what are our plans to actually remove them or change them or redesign or whatever it may be. And that's been a big task. We have that information now. We've got a tool. We also use a Design for Earth tool, which helps us make better choices. And that certainly does help our brand. And I promise you, we're still not perfect. There are still packs out there which have the wrong on-pack recycling labeling. I get nailed for it all the time. But our commitment is to obviously change those as we go along. But yeah, we aren't perfect. So, again, in collaboration space, we all know we're never going to achieve this on our own. Spar's a founding member of the SA Plastics Pact, and we've been part of the pact since its inception. And we, as a retail group, have found huge value in being part of this group of working, collaborative members and people. It's a great space because it's a, I don't know, I like to think of it as we all arrive there in our T-shirt that says Spar, Woolworths, or Polyoke, or whatever it says on it, but the hat comes off, and we actually all wear the hat of the pact, and we're all there for a particular reason. It's not there for our own reason, it's for the pact's reason, and how do we do things better. And it's really it's been helpful to us as a retailer in specific, because we sit there with our competitors, we sit there with Woolworths, we sit there with Pick and Pay, with food lovers. And the vulnerability that people have shown in terms of sharing has been phenomenal. And I don't see any of the guys from Woolies here, but they've shared so much information specifically around multi-layer flexible packaging and stuff that they've learnt. And they're free to share. And so we've, in collaboration, working with them to create the scale, because you're trying to get away from the caviar and the private school and all the sustainability, expensive stuff. And they can only work if we work in collaboration and create the scale. So that's been a huge benefit to us. We work really closely with the Reproplast guys. Quite fortunate, they're just up the road from us. So, what they're doing there is an amazing space. And they've got their EPR scheme as well. So we're partnering with them in terms of all the great stuff that they're doing as well. So, and we're open to all sorts of collaboration. We're not just specific to one or two. We really want to open up our arms, and we want to collaborate with as many many business industries as possible. This next slide, there's an error on it, so just pretend you don't see it. But this is just identifying our problems in our Spar world. So, and this is just in the multi-layer space. There aren't volumes there, and you might see PET, ooh, what's that? But our multi-layer plastic is obviously your typical flexible stuff. PET, that is colored bottles. So Chandra is trying to help you with like a clear ones. We identified that as a problem. The multi-layer non-Tetra Pak, that is other laminated board products, PVC and polystyrenes. That's in our mix. This is just some more detail. So if we look at we call them the non-recyclable offenders. Of course they're recyclable, but just not at scale. So they can become things. So in the multi-layer size, 67% of our multi-layer basket, is multi-layer. And with the help from Woolies and the Pact, we've already found solutions for 90% of those products, which is phenomenal. So we're in the process of changing. So that will be in the next year. We've got a whole rebrand in the Spar space, so in the Spar brand space. So there will be a whole new bunch of stuff coming out, and we'll change packaging then. And then on the PET side, color, I think that the agency is American. You can see the color. Anyway, I went to a government school. Maybe that's why I take a go at the private school guys. Education was low in Maritzburg. So 35% of our non-recyclable, the bad guys, are the colored PET bottles. That would be the brown, and the tropical at the back, that's a green bottle. So we've identified these, and we obviously put measures in place to address them. EPR, it's been spoken at length. Everyone in the room knows all about it. Why I found the importance of just mentioning it is that from a Spar Group perspective, we are certainly not driven by EPR. We believe we're fully supportive of EPR, but it's not why we wake up in the morning and go, ooh, EPR, the dragon is here. It's certainly not that. We believe it's the right thing to do. We believe circularity and collaborative thinking is just the new cult and just the new way we should all be doing things around here. So these are nice guiding tools, these are nice legal things, which is great, but from us as a group, it certainly doesn't drive us. We're driven by purpose-driven, and we want to make sure we're doing this for the right reason. Okay, I hope these slides work. The designer got quite fancy on me. Right, so we've had a few little changes and shifts in our thinking, which are nice little concepts which we thought were small but actually had quite a big impact. And that, again, we had no idea of the opportunity until we worked closely with our recyclers, with our brands, our brand owners and end users of products. So our Spar milk bottle, I'm going to go like this, used to look like that. It had a blue lid on it. And at the time, we were developing and working with our recyclers, and Marplas were one of them, about how do we wanted to create a new lotion range, and we wanted to have a high content of PCR in it. And at the time, there was a shift in another milk brand. They moved the color of the bottle across to a different color, and it created a, yes. So, and so there was, as we know, it's not rocket science to all of you here. So there was we wanted a good, clean material for this range of lotions, and a shortage of good, clear material was not available. And working with our recycler advised, if you could just do this and change that was quite swift, eh? If you could just change the lid to a white, that means you can increase the demand for the material because it's obviously got a higher street value. They can recycle it better. They can get a better higher quality product. And obviously the sleeve comes off easily. That would be amazing for them. And at the time, the blue guy the recycling rates were okay, but they weren't as fantastic as they are now with the shift. So I'm going to go back there because it went to that. And then so from that, we were able to produce the new care. This is just launched at our trade show last week. So it's new in the market. You'll probably see it on the shelves now. But that bottle is made from 30% post-consumer. It's a start. We'd like to get it to as high as possible as we go, but we believe it's a start. Now, for a group, a brand like ourselves where we are everything to everyone, I suppose. We're not just personal care, we're not just food, we're everything. It's been quite a big shift for our brands team, but when they heard the thinking and understood the process, understood the impact of the downstream stuff, how many jobs we're creating, how much material we can remove from the environment, other industries, the whole circular systems thinking, they thought, this is a good idea. We should be doing more of this. And again, we're so bad at telling people. We really are. And so this year, the new marketing strategy is to start just talking about the good stuff we are doing in a very authentic manner. So that was one of the concepts. These aren't 100% right. The one on the right hasn't launched as yet, so Rowena, don't tell your friends. Probably will anyway. That's fine. So yeah, there again, from that to the whole range. The whole range is made from PCW, and so that's the thinking going forward. And as we rebrand and redo things, this is front of mind. So whatever we're going to do, if it's going to be a new packaging for chicken, for example, our packaging team and our brands team are front of mind is what can we do better on the packaging? How can we make it better? How can we make it more responsible? How can we make it circular? And I promise you, 2 years ago, the word circular economy was like the aliens have arrived from Mars, and what are you talking about? But now it's all front of mind, which is amazing. So on that too, we've had a cleanup on our on-pack recycling labels and our material identification codes. We all understand the value of them, and that's also a commitment that we've made. Again, they aren't perfect. We do have products out there which, if one of you picked up, went, jeepers, no, this is certainly not recyclable, those are all getting cleaned up as we go along. So if you just be patient with us, we will get there in the end. But these are our commitments to make sure we do get it done. Oh, so also on the milk bottle journey as well, and we're not the first, and we don't necessarily brag about being the first of anything, but it was another thing was on our milk bottle to increase more demand for milk bottles, not just Spar ones, and create more circularity. We work very closely with Supercart, and they've produced a range of trolleys and shopping baskets that are made from 100% PCW. So, and there too, remember, in our world, unlike our competitors, we don't own our stores, they're independently owned. So to try and inspire a retailer, an independent retailer who does his own business, of thinking like this, and this is what you should be doing, is not an easy task. He's just worried about GP and bottom line, and then confusing KZN about, are they coming to loot me again tomorrow? So those are his things, top of mind. But the more and more we speak to our retailers about the thinking around circularity, the thinking of what we should do better in our stores, it's starting to change the way we do things around here. And they're getting it. They're starting to understand it. And they're always looking for value. What's the value for the retailer? What's the value? The value. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So our fight is slightly different. We're not the fight. It's not even a struggle. It's just going to take time for us to inspire our retailers just to think differently. But we're getting there. It does make it more rewarding when we do start winning. So this is not a totally circular concept, obviously. And the thinking behind it wasn't to try to compete with one of our competitors. It was we identified a problem in a certain product out in the market, which is very low recycling rates, and it's an open loop, right? So it's not a closed circular system, it's still very much open, but we thought, well, potentially we can give a product a second life until things change. And I know things are changing, so this bag may not be around for long. Who knows? But when I say long, we may change it to something else. But it's certainly serving a purpose for our own brand. I know with the guy from Coca-Cola on ginger beer bags. And it's not, again, not rocket science. There's a lot of guys doing this already. But again, for us, it's what lies beneath it. What's the backstory? These bottles are collected in South Africa. We're creating employment in South Africa. They're getting recycled and remolded and not remolded into fiber here locally. And all of our bags are made in South Africa by South Africans out of South African material. And the company that makes the bags is a business that's black. It's owned by a black female, and is the employment within her facility is 100% black females. And down the road from us in Pinetown, they've just invested in another machine, and they went from a staff complement of 14 to 50 with just the introduction of this bag. So we're saying, well, if we've done anything, we've created employment. And we think that's a great story. It's not totally circular, yes, but it does last a lot longer than a normal carry bag. And we believe if we can get into a reuse space, the reuse culture for people in all markets, then we believe we're doing something. This was a little cheeky thing. Yeah, so we're approached by the Good Things guy, Brett Lindeque, I don't know if any of you know him, about all these reusable bags now that are in abundance in people's cupboards and cars, and we still forget them at home when we go to the shops to buy our groceries. So he inspired us a bit. So we created a tree, which is made from polyalu, recycled Tetra cartons, which has been molded into sheets, which we cut out in the bits, go back in to get molded again. And inside the store, there's an opportunity for anyone to just come up and hang any bag in there for a consumer that has forgotten their bag. We started off the process with it's in about, I think we've got them in 70 stores now, and there's still more retailers buying into it, where it's a free offering. So it's not from the retailer stock. If you feel like coming into a Spar store and you've got an abundance of black bags, you can hang them on there too, which we did start off there. And there again, we showed, well, there's collaboration here. We're trying to help people reuse bags. It doesn't matter whose they are. We're all in this together. And that's been pretty successful. So that's another little thing that we've been doing. Yesterday, this came up. Refill stations. So the doc spoke about them yesterday, all that the LCAs have done around the actual refill station itself and the product, which is amazing. We had, so this is in our Tembisa store. Again, when we're in interdependent retailing, a brand can approach one of our retailers and say, cool, we want to do something in your store. Are you happy? And they go, yeah, sure, sounds like a great idea. What does it do to my GP? Jokes, they do say that. But this trial that was done was never done in collaboration with us at Central Office, and the thinking was never around the way we've changed our thinking. So the thinking there was actually, they went in with the idea of reducing plastic, of course, which is what the tests were done yesterday. We saw the results. We saw it from a different angle. We saw it as twofold. One of our Spar values is affordable, nutritious food. So that's the angle we saw it from as one of, and obviously reducing our carbon footprint and reducing plastics in the environment. So that's the two angles we've seen it from. We are now going into pilot phase with 4 units. It's going to be a Spar run thing in collaboration with the same service providers. And again, it's, if you don't do a pilot properly, we don't believe that the cartridges should be filled anywhere near the store. We've got massive food safety risks. So for us, we're food business. We can't be filling up a have a container in the back of the storeroom where the guy's filling Tastic into this thing, or any brand of rice, sticking it back on the shelf. There's no food safety traceability. Something could have contaminated the food product. So we're working on getting the actual cartridges filled at the manufacturer. And there's a system. So how does that work? Those containers need to be cleaned out again. There needs to be a system of food safety. There needs to be a logistics system. So that's what we're piloting, the system around executing this thing properly. Because if we just stick that in the store, and we're still going to fill up these containers from a 10 kg rice, which has still got packaged, it's still been moved from the DC on a pallet, it's still got pallet wrap, it's still got all these other things on it, are we really authentic? I don't think we are. So we believe we need to go back to the source and reduce everything we can as much as possible. So that pilot we're going to be running, and we'll be hopefully able to share some results with you guys in the next 6 months. We're going to run it for 6 months. We're going to see how it works. We're going to get all the learnings from it, and then from there decide whether we're going to go to market and actually roll these things out. So again, that's the thinking behind it. Very easy to just go and throw 100 of them out there and say, look at how amazing we are, and there's very little uptake, very little value, and very little impact on why we're doing it. So I just want to say thank you for today. I hope I didn't bore you. I'm glad I didn't get the graveyard shift, I must admit. Yesterday I was catching marlin at the end. So, but yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening. And any questions, give us a shout afterwards. And we're open for collaboration, so thank you.